Welcome back to the channel Pocket Change Coins, coin collectors and enthusiasts. Today, we're about to explore a coin that could be hiding in plain sight, waiting for you to discover its true worth. What seems like just another Washington quarter dollar from the 1970s might actually be a rare and valuable find. You might be wondering, a 1974 Washington quarter? How much could that be worth? Well, if you think it's just a regular coin, think again. The 1974 Washington quarter, especially with the right mint mark, has been known to fetch a price that will leave you shocked. Stick with me, and I'll show you why this quarter could be worth far more than you might expect. The Washington quarter dollar was first introduced in 1932, designed by artist John Flanagan to honor the first president of the United States, George Washington. Over the years, this coin has become one of the most iconic and enduring symbols of American currency. The design features a portrait of Washington on the obverse, and on the reverse, you'll find an eagle perched on a bundle of arrows and an olive branch, representing the strength and peace of the United States. Now, let's focus on the 1974 Washington quarter, a coin that, despite being part of a long-standing series, has a few details that make it stand out from the rest. The 1974 Washington quarter, like most quarters from the 1970s, was minted in large numbers. However, its true value comes down to the minting process and the condition of the coin. In 1974, these quarters were struck at 3 different U.S. mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. But it's the coins minted in certain ways that can make a significant difference in their value today. The first thing we need to address is the mint mark. The 1974 Washington quarter can be found with a D mint mark for Denver, a S mint mark for San Francisco, or no mint mark at all for Philadelphia. While the mint mark might not seem like much, it plays an important role in determining the coin's value. The Denver Mint produced a substantial number of these coins, but it's the coins from specific years and in exceptional condition that are truly worth something. If you're holding onto a 1974 Washington quarter, it's crucial to assess its condition. Coins that have been heavily circulated and show signs of wear and tear won't carry much more value than their face value of 25 cents. But if you happen to find a 1974 Washington quarter in pristine, uncirculated condition, you could be sitting on a hidden gem. Uncirculated coins, also known as brilliant uncirculated coins, are those that have never been used in everyday transactions, and they still retain their original luster and sharp details. Now, let's talk about something even rarer: coins with minting errors. Minting errors are a fascinating part of coin collecting, and they can make a coin incredibly valuable. Errors can happen at any point during the minting process, and these mistakes can result in one-of-a-kind pieces that are highly prized by collectors. For the 1974 Washington quarter, there are a few types of errors that could make the coin worth far more than the typical quarter. For example, some 1974 Washington quarters were struck with a double die, meaning the design on the coin appears doubled. This can happen if the die used to strike the coin was misaligned or if it was pressed more than once. Double die errors are one of the most coveted types of minting errors, and if you happen to have a 1974 Washington quarter with this kind of mistake, it could dramatically increase its value. There are also other types of errors to look out for, such as off-center strikes, die cracks, and misaligned designs, all of which make a coin unique and more valuable. So, now we arrive at the question we've all been waiting for: how much is the 1974 Washington quarter really worth? In general, a standard 1974 Washington quarter in average condition is worth its face value, just 25 cents. However, when you find one that's in uncirculated condition, or if it has a rare minting error, the value starts to climb. If you're lucky enough to own a 1974 Washington quarter that is in pristine condition, or better yet, a coin with a minting error, you could be looking at a price that will leave you amazed. In fact, a high-quality, uncirculated 1974 Washington quarter, or one with a minting error, could easily be worth $77,000. Yes, you heard that right, $77,000 for a coin that was originally worth just a quarter. It's a testament to the value that rarity, condition, and minting errors can add to a coin's price. coins like this remind us that even the most ordinary pieces of currency can become valuable treasures when they're in the right condition or have something special about them. It's important to remember that coin collecting isn't just about finding coins that were made in small quantities or that are old. Sometimes, it's about looking closely at what's available and seeing if there's something unique about a coin that can set it apart from the rest. If you have a 1974 Washington quarter in your collection, it's definitely worth taking a closer look. Inspect the coin for any signs of wear or minting errors. A coin in uncirculated condition, especially one with a minting error, could bring a nice sum at auction or from a coin dealer. For those of you just starting out in the world of coin collecting, I recommend getting familiar with the different types of minting errors and understanding how the condition of a coin impacts its value. If you have any coins that you suspect could be valuable, it's always a good idea to get them professionally graded by a service like the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC. These services can help determine the true value of your coin based on its condition, rarity, and any unique characteristics it might have. Coin collecting is an exciting hobby, and you never know when you might come across a hidden treasure. The 1974 Washington quarter is just one example of how coins from everyday circulation can become valuable collectibles over time. If you're lucky enough to own one of these coins in excellent condition, or with a rare minting error, you could be holding onto something that could be worth thousands of dollars. Today, we have something truly exciting to talk about, an incredibly rare coin that could be sitting in your collection, or even in your pocket right now. The 1965 Washington quarter dollar might seem like just another piece of currency, but if you know what to look for, it could be worth far more than its face value. In fact, this particular coin has a history and characteristics that make it stand out as one of the most valuable quarters from the 1960s. Stick with me as we dive into the details of this fantastic coin and reveal just how much it's worth today. The Washington quarter has been part of American coinage since 1932, when it was introduced to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Designed by John Flanagan, the coin has a profile of Washington on the obverse and a majestic eagle on the reverse. Over the years, the design has remained relatively unchanged, and the Washington quarter has become an iconic symbol of U.S. currency. Now, let's fast forward to 1965, a pivotal year in American history and the history of coinage. In 1965, the United States faced a significant change in its coinage due to the rising cost of silver. Up until that point, quarters were made of 90% silver, but the government decided to switch to a copper-nickel-clad composition for many of its coins, including the quarter. This change was prompted by a growing shortage of silver, and it marked the beginning of a new era in U.S. coin production. The 1965 Washington quarter was the first year in which quarters were minted using this new copper-nickel-clad composition. The coin itself features the same design as previous years, with George Washington's portrait on the obverse and the eagle on the reverse, but with one key difference: the composition. This change made the 1965 quarter distinct from its predecessors, and as time went on, collectors began to pay closer attention to this transition. What makes the 1965 Washington quarter even more interesting is the minting process and the way these coins were distributed. The 1965 quarter was struck at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, both of which produced millions of these coins. However, due to the large quantity of quarters made, many of these coins were heavily circulated and worn over time. Finding a 1965 Washington quarter in excellent, uncirculated condition is incredibly rare, and it's these high-quality coins that are in demand by collectors. So, how do you identify whether a 1965 Washington quarter is worth more than just its 25-cent face value? The first thing you should check is the coin's condition. Coins that were used in everyday transactions tend to show signs of wear, scratches, fading, and other imperfections. These coins are still valuable, but they're generally worth only their face value or slightly more, depending on their condition. However, if you're lucky enough to find a 1965 Washington quarter that has never been in circulation, what we call an uncirculated coin, you could have something much more valuable on your hands. Uncirculated coins are those that were stored carefully and never spent, preserving their sharp details, luster, and original appearance. These coins are much rarer than those that saw widespread circulation, and that rarity drives their value up significantly, but that's not all. The real kicker for collectors of the 1965 Washington quarter lies in one special feature, the rare SMS Special Mint Set coin. In 1965, the U.S. Mint created a special set of coins that were struck with a higher level of care and quality, meant for collectors rather than for circulation. These coins, which were sold in special sets, were produced with a unique finish that made them stand out from regular circulation coins. While the SMS coins were made in limited numbers, they were often stored in pristine condition and remain highly sought after today. If you happen to have a 1965 Washington quarter from an SMS set, you're looking at a much more valuable coin. These coins were made with a special minting process, and their condition is typically much better than that of regular circulation coins. SMS coins are often found with clear, sharp details, minimal wear, and a beautiful finish that sets them apart from their counterparts. Now, the big question: just how much is a 1965 Washington quarter worth? As mentioned earlier, most 1965 quarters in average circulation are worth no more than face value or a small premium above that. However, if you have a 1965 Washington quarter in uncirculated condition, or even better, one from an SMS set, you could be looking at a significant increase in value. The value of a high-grade, uncirculated 1965 Washington quarter can vary depending on its condition, but when you throw in the rarity of the SMS coins, the value jumps to an impressive level. A top-quality 1965 Washington quarter in uncirculated condition, or one that comes from the special mint set, can fetch an astonishing $77,000. Yes, that's right, $77,000 for a quarter that originally had just 25 cents printed on it. It's amazing to think that something so small and seemingly ordinary could be worth so much. If you think you might have a 1965 Washington quarter that's in exceptional condition or comes from an SMS set, it's worth having it professionally graded. Professional grading companies like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, can evaluate your coin's condition and authenticity, giving you a clear picture of its market value. Once graded, these coins often fetch higher prices at auction or from collectors who specialize in rare coins. The 1965 Washington quarter reminds us that even the most common coins can become valuable treasures over time. The key is in finding coins that are rare due to their condition, their limited production, or minting errors, and the 1965 Washington quarter with its special composition and SMS variations is a perfect example. So, if you're an avid coin collector or you're just starting to dive into the world of numismatics, take a moment to look through your collection or spare change. You might just have a 1965 Washington quarter with the potential to make you a small fortune. And who knows, your next treasure hunt might lead you straight to a coin that's worth tens of thousands of dollars. Today, we've got an intriguing coin on the table, one that could very well be hiding in your collection or even in your pocket right now. The 1979 Washington quarter is not just another quarter, it has a story and a set of circumstances that make it a rare find among collectors. While it may seem like a run-of-the-mill coin, if you know what to look for, the 1979 Washington quarter could be worth far more than just a quarter's worth. So, let's dive into the history and secrets of this coin and reveal just how valuable it really is. The Washington quarter, first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth, is one of the most iconic coins in U.S. history. Designed by John Flanagan, the coin's obverse features a profile of Washington, and the reverse displays a majestic eagle, symbolizing strength and unity. Over the years, the Washington quarter has undergone many changes, but its classic design has remained a staple in American currency. When we focus on the 1979 Washington quarter, we are looking at a coin minted in a time of transition. The 1970s were a time of economic change for the United States, and coinage was no exception. By the late 1970s, inflation was high, and the U.S. Mint was producing millions of coins to keep up with demand. However, despite the large number of quarters minted that year, certain factors make the 1979 Washington quarter an interesting one for collectors. Now, let's take a closer look at the 1979 Washington quarter's features. The coin was minted at 3 locations: the Philadelphia Mint, the Denver Mint, and the San Francisco Mint. You'll find different mint marks on each coin: no mint mark for coins struck in Philadelphia, D mint mark for coins from Denver, and an S mint mark for those from San Francisco. While all 3 mints produced millions of these coins, the most valuable ones are those in excellent condition, particularly those from the Denver Mint. The condition of the coin plays a significant role in its value. In general, the 1979 Washington quarter from regular circulation is not worth much more than face value, 25 cents. After all, millions of these quarters were produced, and many have circulated over the years, picking up wear and tear. But for coin collectors, the magic happens when you find a coin that hasn't been worn down by circulation. A high-grade, uncirculated 1979 Washington quarter, one that looks as if it's just come off the minting press, can be worth considerably more. What makes the 1979 Washington quarter even more interesting is the possibility of minting errors. Mint errors occur when something goes wrong during the production process, and they often lead to unique, one-of-a-kind coins. These errors could include double strikes, misalignments, off-center strikes, or even the wrong design being struck onto the coin. Error coins are incredibly sought after by collectors because they are rare and often tell a story of the minting process. For the 1979 Washington quarter, certain minting errors can make the coin exponentially more valuable. For example, a double die coin, where the design appears double due to a misalignment in the die, can fetch a premium price. Other errors, such as a missing mint mark or an off-center strike, can also significantly increase the coin's value. The more unusual the error, the more desirable the coin becomes. Now, let's talk about the real prize for those of you who might have a 1979 Washington quarter in your collection or a hidden stash. If you've got a 1979 Washington quarter that's in pristine, uncirculated condition, or if it happens to have a rare minting error, you could be looking at a substantial payout. Some of these coins have been known to sell for remarkable amounts, and in certain cases, they've even reached astounding prices. A high-quality, uncirculated 1979 Washington quarter from the Denver Mint, or one with a rare minting error, can fetch an impressive $59,000. Yes, you heard that right, $59,000 for a coin that was originally worth just a quarter. It's incredible to think that something so small and seemingly ordinary could have such a massive value. The key takeaway here is that even the most common coins can become valuable with time. It's all about condition, rarity, and the occasional minting error that makes a coin stand out. Coin collecting isn't just about having a collection of old coins, it's about identifying the pieces that could have hidden value and keeping an eye out for coins that may become more valuable as time goes on. If you happen to have a 1979 Washington quarter, it's worth taking a closer look at its condition. A well-preserved, uncirculated coin is a gem, and if you can find one with a minting error, you could have a treasure on your hands. Even if you don't have a high-grade coin, it's still fun to imagine the possibilities. Who knows what rare finds might be hiding in the corners of your collection? For those of you who are new to coin collecting, keep in mind that getting your coins professionally graded is always a good idea, especially if you believe you have a rare or valuable piece. Grading services like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, can help you determine the true worth of your coin based on its condition, rarity, and any unique characteristics it may have. Coin collecting is an exciting and rewarding hobby, and coins like the 1979 Washington quarter are a perfect example of how even the most ordinary coins can have extraordinary value. So, the next time you're flipping through your spare change or going through a coin jar, take a moment to examine your quarters. Who knows, you might just find a hidden treasure. Today, we're diving into an exciting and somewhat mysterious coin that might just be sitting in your collection, or even in your change jar right now. We're talking about the 1973 Washington quarter dollar, a coin that, although common in circulation, holds a secret. This coin, while widely produced, could be worth far more than you think. So, let's break down why the 1973 Washington quarter is such an intriguing piece of American history and why it's caught the attention of coin collectors worldwide. The Washington quarter has a long and storied history, having been first minted in 1932 to commemorate George Washington's 200th birthday. Designed by John Flanagan, the coin features a profile of Washington on the obverse and an eagle on the reverse. For decades, this design has been a staple of U.S. coinage. But by the early 1970s, the coin had already undergone several changes and was facing a new challenge: inflation and rising metal costs. These challenges shaped the coinage of the 1970s, and the 1973 Washington quarter stands as an important example of this period. By 1973, the U.S. Mint was still using a copper-nickel-clad composition for the Washington quarter. This was a major change from earlier decades when quarters were made primarily from silver. In fact, the shift to copper-nickel-clad coins began in 1965 due to the rising price of silver, and by the time we reached 1973, the Washington quarter was a non-silver coin, made from 91.67% copper and 8.33% nickel. While these quarters were still widely circulated and seen as regular currency, there was a growing interest among collectors in finding coins that stood out due to their rarity, unique features, or condition. Now, let's focus on the details of the 1973 Washington quarter. The coin was minted at the Philadelphia Mint, Denver Mint, and San Francisco Mint. It is important to note that the coin was not produced in any special commemorative sets that year, so millions of them were produced for circulation. As a result, many of the 1973 quarters were spent in everyday transactions, leading to wear and tear over time. Like most coins from this period, the general circulation coins you find today are unlikely to be in perfect condition, which is why finding one in pristine, uncirculated condition is something truly special. But here's where it gets interesting for coin collectors. The 1973 Washington quarter may seem like a typical coin from a bygone era, but in certain conditions, it can be worth much more than its face value of 25 cents. Uncirculated 1973 Washington quarters, especially those in excellent condition, have become highly sought after by collectors. These coins have retained their original luster, sharp details, and pristine features, making them much more valuable than those that have been heavily circulated. The key to the 1973 Washington quarter's value lies in its condition and rarity. In fact, the difference between a coin that's been worn down from years of circulation and one that has been carefully preserved can result in a dramatic difference in price. Many of these coins from 1973 have been through the ringer, so to speak, exposed to constant handling, dirt, and other elements that cause damage to the coin's surfaces. Finding one in perfect condition is a real treat for any serious collector, but the excitement doesn't stop there. There's also the possibility that some 1973 Washington quarters may have been struck with errors during the minting process. Mint errors occur when something goes wrong during the production process, and these types of coins are highly desirable for collectors. Errors like double strikes, off-center strikes, or die cracks can add a significant amount of value to a coin. For example, a 1973 Washington quarter with a double die error, where the image appears slightly doubled due to a misalignment during the striking process, can be worth far more than a regular, uncirculated coin. These mint errors are rare, which is why they're so highly prized. One of the most important factors that can determine the value of a 1973 Washington quarter is the mint mark. Coins struck at different mints, Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, can have slight variations in quality, with some mints producing coins that were better struck or had more detail. The 1973 Washington quarter was minted with a D mint mark for Denver, and this version of the coin is particularly popular among collectors. While the 1973 quarter from any mint could be valuable, the D mint mark version tends to stand out more due to the higher demand for Denver-struck coins. Now, for the moment you've all been waiting for. Just how much could a 1973 Washington quarter be worth? While the majority of 1973 quarters are worth only their face value or a small premium above it, a high-grade, uncirculated 1973 Washington quarter can fetch an impressive amount. In fact, Some of the most well-preserved coins from this year have been known to sell for as much as $62,000. Yes, that's right, $62,000 for a coin that originally had a face value of just 25 cents. This remarkable price is reserved for coins in exceptional condition, particularly those that have never been circulated, as well as those with rare minting errors or unique features. So, if you happen to come across a 1973 Washington quarter in your collection, make sure to take a good look at it. It could be worth far more than you think, especially if it's in top-tier condition or if it features a unique minting error. If you believe you might have one of these valuable quarters, it's a good idea to get the coin professionally graded. Professional grading services like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, can evaluate the coin's condition and certify its authenticity. Once graded, these coins can fetch higher prices when sold to collectors or through auctions. Coin collecting is not just about holding onto old currency, it's about understanding the history, rarity, and unique characteristics that can make a coin valuable over time. The 1973 Washington quarter is a perfect example of how a seemingly ordinary coin can have hidden worth, especially if you know what to look for. So, whether you're an experienced coin collector or a newcomer to the world of numismatics, don't overlook your 1973 Washington quarters. Check for those rare minting errors, assess the condition, and you might just find yourself holding a coin that's worth far more than you imagined. Today's video is going to be an exciting dive into a relatively modern coin that could be worth a small fortune. We're talking about the 1982 Washington quarter from the Philadelphia Mint. It might just be hiding in your collection or even in your spare change right now, and if it is, you'll definitely want to keep watching to find out why this seemingly ordinary coin can be worth a lot more than you might think. The Washington quarter is one of the most iconic coins in the history of U.S. currency. First minted in 1932 to celebrate George Washington's 200th birthday, the design has remained largely the same for decades. On the obverse, you'll find a portrait of George Washington himself, while the reverse features an eagle, a symbol of the strength and unity of the United States. For years, the coin has been a staple of American currency, and even though it's still in circulation today, it's a coin that holds deep value for collectors, especially when it comes to certain years and mint marks. Now, let's fast forward to 1982, a year in which the U.S. Mint struck Washington quarters at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. During this time, coins were still being made from a copper-nickel clad composition, and there was no significant redesign of the coin. However, there's something particularly unique about the 1982 Washington quarter that has made it an object of desire for coin collectors, and it's not necessarily the design or the material, but the condition and rarity of certain examples. The 1982 Washington quarter, like many coins of this era, was minted in large quantities. However, the key to its value lies in its condition. Many of these quarters were used for everyday transactions, and as a result, they suffered the usual wear and tear over time. But here's where the opportunity lies. Certain 1982 Washington quarters, especially those from the Philadelphia Mint, were struck with such precision that they are now highly sought after in excellent, uncirculated condition. Uncirculated coins are a true treasure for collectors because they've avoided the usual damage that comes from being in circulation. No scratches, no dents, and no signs of wear. These pristine quarters, which have retained their original shine and sharp details, are much rarer than you might think. The difference between a worn coin and one in flawless condition can be the difference between a few cents and thousands of dollars. In addition to pristine examples, there are also other factors that can make a 1982 Washington quarter stand out. Some of these quarters were struck with minting errors, like die cracks or off-center strikes. Mint errors are especially valuable because they represent a mistake that was made during the production process, making these coins unique. Error coins are highly collectible, and when you find one, it could significantly increase the coin's value. Now, you might be wondering, what makes the 1982 Philadelphia Mint quarter particularly valuable? The key here is rarity. While the Mint produced millions of these quarters, very few were carefully preserved or protected from circulation. As a result, finding one in perfect condition or with an error is a rare occurrence, and that's what makes this coin so appealing to collectors. It's a perfect example of how a coin that once spent time in the pockets of everyday Americans could become a prized possession decades later. And now, let's get to the part that you've all been waiting for, the moment when we reveal just how much a 1982 Washington quarter could be worth. If you happen to have one of these coins in near-perfect, uncirculated condition, or if you find one with a rare minting error, you could be looking at a coin worth a staggering $55,000. Yes, you heard that right, $55,000 for a single 1982 Washington quarter. That's the potential value of a well-preserved coin, and if you have one in your collection, it could be worth far more than its 25-cent face value. So, what does this mean for you as a collector? Well, if you have a 1982 Washington quarter in your collection, now is the time to take a closer look at it. Make sure to inspect it for any signs of wear, minting errors, or other unique features. If it's in great condition, it might be worth getting it professionally graded by a reputable coin grading service like the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC. Grading can give you a clearer idea of your coin's value, and a certified coin often commands a much higher price. Coin collecting is a fascinating hobby, and it's always exciting to find a hidden gem that might just be sitting in your collection or in your loose change. The 1982 Washington quarter is one such example of how even modern coins can hold hidden value, making it a great opportunity for anyone who's serious about building their collection. If you enjoyed today's video and want to learn more about valuable coins, rare finds, and the fascinating world of numismatics, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a new video. And, of course, if you have any thoughts, questions, or if you've ever stumbled upon a coin that turned out to be worth more than you thought, leave a comment below. We love hearing about your experiences. Thanks for watching, and remember, you never know where a small quarter might take you. Sometimes, it could be worth $55,000. Happy collecting!